All right, joining us now to discuss all the latest out of Syria, we're being joined by former Pentagon official Michael Maloof. All right, Mike, this strike in the Deir el-Zor province was obviously U.S.-led. The U.S. has not yet commented on this strike, but Syria wants answers from the UN Security Council. What do you expect the UNSC to say about it?
Nothing. The U.S. basically controls the United Nations Security Council. Even if a formal objection is raised, they have the veto ability. The U.S. has the veto capability. I don't see anything coming out of this. As Trump pointed out, this is the last weekend that they want to go after the last vestige of ISIS, and they're just unloading. And the rules of engagement are basically put aside, and they're going to try to hit ISIS wherever they can. It shows that there's a total lack of intelligence given the number of casualties that occurred in this latest bombing run. So, but nothing like all the other previous investigations by the Pentagon, nothing's going to come of them.
Also, I want to talk about another airstrike confirmed by Benjamin Netanyahu today in what he calls the Iran-aligned Syria.
Yeah.
This is after Syrian officials say Israeli drones fired missiles near a demolished hospital and an army observation post. Why hasn't the UNSC condemned those actions by Israel either?
They're not going to, because of who controls the United Nations Security Council, and who's going to bring up a formal a charge against Israel, let alone the United States for the other bombing. But you're not going to see that happening in this Security Council.
So it seems like the U.S. and Israel are acting however they see fit with no repercussions.
Well, who's going to stop them at this point? Who's stopping them? I mean, the only thing that's going to stop them is effective counterforce. And if the Israelis continue these drone attacks or F-16 attacks shooting missiles into Syria, you're going to possibly see reaction not only from the Iranians but even from the Syrians, maybe even from the Russians if this continues.
Yeah, because
the general staff, Russian general staff, has had it up to here with it.
And Israel, Netanyahu has point blank said they're in there to attack Iran. It's not about ISIS. It's not about anything else. It's about countering Iran.
Yeah, see, it's going to get to a point where Iran is going to get fed up and is going to take off on Israel itself. And so will Syria if these attacks continue into a sovereign country such as this. Just because Iran elements are in Syria does not give Israel.
There.
Yeah, of course they are. They've been invited. But that does not give Israel the right to go ahead and bomb them.
Well, what are Syria's options in the way of, I don't know, I don't want to say retaliation, but it's illegal action and illegal incursion that's happening on their country. Do they have any recourse?
The only one that would be military. If you try to go to the UN, yeah, you can broadcast it to the world, but nobody cares. No one,
it's deaf ears.
It's basically deaf ears, and who's going to stop them unless a response is undertaken? And this is what I'm really concerned about. That if this continues, and it's probably going to even intensify by the Israelis because of upcoming April elections, and because Netanyahu is facing imminent indictment. He's got to do something to distract attention. And now you see the crescendo building against Iran. So this is all orchestrated. This is all orchestrated to bring this crescendo to a head.
And we heard there in Murad's piece, Trump said ISIS would be defeated this week, and that we'd pack up the boys and bring them home. How are we doing with that, really?
They're not coming home. They're going to go into Iraq, and if the Iraqi government doesn't kick them out, then they will be there at the stage to go into Iran.
So this is just continuing our stint in the Middle East.
It's all about us trying to maintain our influence in the region. That's what the whole Warsaw meeting in Poland is all about, to try to keep that coalition together, U.S.-led. Otherwise, the GCC countries are going to go off on their own. And you'll notice that a lot of the European countries decided not to attend that meeting because it was aimed at Iran initially, but not now, allegedly. But ultimately, that's what it's all about, to gather the forces against Iran.
So much for our endless wars. So, all right, we'll leave it right there. Thank you, as always, for letting us pick your brain, making us a little brighter on this subject. Michael Maloof, thank you.
My pleasure.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.